What's going on, everyone? So, per Jovan Buha, the Lakers view Rui Hachimura as a long-term piece. I don't think that means they would not trade him, but among the four mid-sized salaries the Lakers can trade between now and January 15th, Rui, Gabe Vincent, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt, Rui is the guy they prefer to keep as the longest-term piece. I think the January 15th is just a mistake because trade deadline is February, right? So, point is, Rui Hachimura, the Lakers are reluctant to trade. That they view him kind of as this long-term piece, which, look, I have said that post-LeBron, I would love to have Rui Hachimura as our starting power forward, right? He just plays better at the 4 spot, right? Because he gets to, that's his natural position. He's not as big of a liability defensively. He also rebounds slightly better when he's at the 4. He's not like this great rebounder for his size and length, but he rebounds better. He's just in his better natural spots, right? Better natural environment to be more productive out there on the basketball court when he is slotted at the 4. We've seen more often than not when he gets to play the 4, he usually has better games. Right? Last season, he had literally a career night playing the 4 in one of the games that LeBron was absent in. We saw the other night, not the second game that LeBron missed. Rui actually had a bad game, but that first night, Rui was very good, very impactful. Lakers ended up pulling out the win, right? So you kind of look at this Lakers team, however, and Rui he doesn't fit. Because as long as LeBron is on this team, Rui is going to have to play the 3. And he's not a 3. He is a 4 that has done his best to adapt and evolve to try to play the 3 spot. But he's a liability defensively, right? He's too inconsistent out there because he's not slotted where he needs to be. And he's also our second most sizable tradable salary at $17 million. Next season, he's also expiring. So, teams probably would have some value in Rui Hachimura and probably would see Rui as an actual asset and a player that could make some noise for them going forward. Now, I don't think you just trade Rui just to trade Rui, but you have to trade Rui at this point, right? Now, if you could pull off some other moves and make some other trades and, if a team, if you could go get whatever, some trade package that turns things around and then you could kind of keep Rui and have Rui come off the bench, right? Sure. I've even argued that I think now you should have Rui come off the bench. I think your starting 5 should be kind of like, if you want to go Gabe Vincent, you go Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Max Christie, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, or go Reeves, Christie, connect LeBron James and AD. And then that way you can just have D'Lo and Rui come off the bench, right? Rui gets to play the 4 more. Maybe you could even, if D'Lo and Rui can kind of uptick their production playing alongside each other, and LeBron, maybe you could kind of cut his minutes down a little bit. But now you could have Rui kind of play more 4, maybe even have LeBron play a couple minutes at the 3 to kind of give Rui more time at the 4, kind of go that route, right? And then if you pull off a trade and you want to keep Rui and you want to keep him off the bench at the 4, sure. But Lakers need multiple moves, right? If we were like a piece away, if it was like, man, if we could just go get, a Dorian Finney-Smith or a Cam Johnson or, a Kyle Kuzma or whatever, right? And that was it. And it's like, okay, now we're a contending team, then sure, right? Keep Rui, right? If you can go and pull off some other moves and you don't have to trade Rui, then fine. Do that. Don't trade Rui, keep Rui. But I just don't think realistically you're going to be able to do that. And I just think especially if you can get actual 3s that can slot in and play that role. Like if you told me right now, Cam Johnson or Rui Hachimura, who would you take? It's Cam Johnson all day. Not even a question, right? He's just more athletic. He gives you what you need. He's more of a natural 3. He's having a great season, right? Like he makes sense, right? And so I think if you could get him and like a Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Well, now you're in a position to where it's like, all right, like, watch out, right? Like, and now you don't need Rui Hachimura, right? Like, you could still argue him as like your backup 4, but Cam Johnson can play the 4, right? So like you could literally go like Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, right? And then when LeBron goes to the bench and get rest, you could just slide Cam Johnson to the 4 and then move Dorian Finney-Smith to the 3, right? Like, or you could play Dorian Finney-Smith even at the 4. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith defended a lot of 4s, both with Brooklyn and even Dallas, right? So like you could even go that route. I just think, if you're the Lakers, you have no need for Rui at that point. Now, again, if you could get these two, but you probably have to trade Rui, right? Or if you got, say, a Dorian Finney-Smith and like a Day'Ron Sharpe, and then, you were able to go, I don't know, get another piece. But the problem is, like, Rui is your other tradable asset that you need to go get that other piece, right? So, like, let's say you get Dorian Finney-Smith and like Day'Ron Sharpe. Might need to send out about like 18 million. Like, you could technically do like D'Lo for both, but I actually think it's a little less. Like D'Lo and like, let's say D'Lo and Jalen Hood-Schifino. Clear a little roster, salary space, right? Give the Nets expiring contracts, which is clearly what they want based on the Dennis Schroeder trade, right? Okay, cool, you got that. And then now what, right? Like you could, because you're not trading Reeves. Lakers refuse to trade Austin Reeves. You can't refuse to trade Austin Reeves and then not trade Rui Hachimura. Because now all that's left is like Jared Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent. Yeah, I get you another $22 million, but like, what are you getting for those guys? One guy has been awful this season. Another guy hasn't played all year, right? Like you could do Max Christie, but he's finally starting to look like that piece that you need, right? Like he makes a lot of sense as like that backup two that can defend and hit the open shot, right? Like he's like kind of redundant to go get a bunch of 3-and-D guys to add to the only one 3-and-D guy that you have, and then to trade that 3-and-D guy. It's like, it doesn't really make sense in that regard. So I just think if you're the Lakers, you can't have it both ways, right? Like this could very well just be a trade tactic play of like, hey, we value Rui. We're not just going to trade Rui. We like Rui. Rui's been very good for us, and he is. Like I like Rui too. Like, I would love to see the Lakers keep Rui Hachimura. I would love to see the Lakers not have to get rid of Rui. But unfortunately, he's your most sizable contract. If he was making $10 million, then fine. Like, you could keep him. But he's not. Right? You need his $17 million to go and get those pieces that you need. If Rui Hachimura is the difference between you being able to go get that final piece or not, like, you got to get rid of Rui. As long as LeBron's on this team, he's never going to get to play the role that is best suited for him. He's never going to get to play the position that is best suited for him. He's always going to be slotted at a position more often than not, unless you're only playing him 15 minutes a game. But like if you're really going to play him 30 plus minutes, and if you go get a bunch of wings, now you don't need him, right? Like now it's like, okay, if you get Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, where does Rui slot in at that point, right? Because like I said, Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson both can play the 4. Right? Like, and Dorian Finney-Smith, you can make an argument, is probably best at the 4. Right? Like, so again, you don't need Rui. Right? So you might as well flip him into something that you need. Right? Like, if you can go get Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith and then turn Rui into, well, you'd have to probably trade Rui to go get Cam Johnson, but like, let's say they don't want him, right? And let's say you are able to keep Rui. Right? Well, then still you need to go and take Rui. I think you need to go turn him into like a Bruce Brown or something like that. Right? Like, I think you need to make some moves, right? Like, it's just, I think it's silly to have him as, I mean, again, he didn't say he's untouchable. Like, Austin Reeves, Lakers have said he's virtually untouchable, right? Like, they're only going to trade him for an all-star level player or some star or something like that, right? Like, but Rui Hachimura, like, obviously, he's not untouchable in, like, the sense of Reeves, but seeing him in your long-term plans, it just, unless you believe LeBron's retiring this season, but if that's the point, you shouldn't do anything, right? Like, if you really think LeBron's leaving in the offseason or he's retiring or anything, then trade him now. Be like, hey, dude, you want to go to the Warriors? We'll send you to the Warriors now. And hit the reset button at that point. And even then, I think you should probably still trade Rui because you're probably hitting the reset entirely. You're probably rebuilding. So I just think no matter what direction you go, I think Rui just doesn't make sense at this point, right? Like, it's unfortunate because I think Rui is an excellent player, but I think he's a casualty of just timing, right? Like, I think he's just he's on the wrong team at the wrong time, right? Rather than, if we didn't have LeBron, I think he'd be on the right team at the right time. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Ediville, what are your thoughts? What do you think the Lakers should do with Rui Hachimura? Do you think that they should trade him? Do you agree that, like, no, you should keep him, right? He's a valuable asset. He's a piece that could really, help the Lakers and make some noise for the Lakers. Do you think, like, unfortunately, at this point, at this stage of his career, you got to get rid of him. As long as LeBron's on this team, he doesn't make sense for this team. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.